Hello, Half Centenarian family. Dr. Geoffrey here again. And a lot has happened since the last we spoke. In case you forgot me, Dr. Geoffrey Varner, board-certified emergency medicine physician, as well as a split-second decisions and crisis expert. And I found myself in this COVID space, and I've become a national and international COVID influencer as well. But look, since the last we've spoken, we've had a few big things happen. Number one, kids. Yes, we have a vaccine, or several vaccines, that are approved for kids between the ages of 5 to 11. Between the ages of 5 to 11. And yes, the dosage is different. And it should be. The experts have worked all that out. But here's the important part. Here's what we need to think about. Studies are showing over 40% of adults who are vaccinated, they don't want their kids to get vaccinated. So they want to be protected, but they've got this hesitancy about their kids. We need to keep in mind that early on, this time a few years ago, we were saying that kids, they weren't getting sick. We were saying that kids were not dying. In fact, we were saying it was less likely for kids to even contract COVID. We've got studies now. Kids are contracting COVID. Kids are getting sick. And kids are dying. Hence, this vaccine is extremely important. Let's take it to the next step. The fastest growing group of people who are becoming COVID positive, meaning who are contracting COVID, are those between the ages of 5 to 11, school-age children. But the second fastest group are adults between the ages of 35 and 54. It makes sense. The kids who are getting infected are coming home and infecting their parents. Parents, as a father, as an ER doctor who's practiced for 25 years, as just someone who's a part of the community and have been a part of the community, I ask you to please trust science. Get your kid vaccinated. And just real quick, we always talk about decisions because you know I am a decisions expert. Real quick nugget. People often think about the decisions, but they don't spend enough time thinking about the consequences. If you choose not to get your child vaccinated, spend a little time thinking about the possible consequences. Now let's go on to the next big change, the boosters. Oh yeah, you should listen up on this. The boosters are here. Now I get it. Follow me on this one. Let's first talk about Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson has already said that anyone who has received the Johnson & Johnson shot should receive a second shot, which they're calling a booster. But one expert said, hey, if you receive Johnson & Johnson, just consider that second shot. Don't necessarily look at it as a booster. Look at it as a required second shot. Because the studies are showing that the number of neutralizing antibodies, the number of antibodies that you get from the Johnson & Johnson, they decrease fast when you only have one shot. Johnson & Johnson saying, hey, if you've had our shot and it's been more than 2 months, you qualify for that second shot. So please get that second shot. Now again, the government has maybe confused us a little bit as it relates to booster. Here are the facts, and I'm going to give you some nuances to it. The facts are, if you're over the age of 65, you qualify for the Pfizer or the Moderna booster, over the age of 65. Or if you're over the age of 18 and you have pre-existing health conditions that include, but are not limited to. Now let me say it again, that include, but are not limited to. It includes diabetes, high blood pressure, smoking, or you used to smoke, pregnancy, obesity, cancer, lung problems. It includes all those, but it's not limited to those. And then, if you're over the age of 18, and you work in an environment where you have, where you could possibly be exposed, such as you work in a nursing home, you work on the front lines, you live in a dorm, then that puts you at risk, and you may qualify for a booster shot. I said all that. I'm not trying to confuse you, but those are the guidelines. I would encourage you to go to the CDC site and look at the guidelines. But check this out. By the way, everyone in my family has had their booster. Everyone in my family has had their booster. But there's a but to this. In California, Colorado, and New Mexico, they have said anyone over the age of 18 qualifies for a booster. That's different from what I just said. Remember, I told you if they have this, this, or this, or this, But California, New Mexico, and Colorado have said no. Even if you're just over the age of 18, you qualify for a booster. Let me tell you why the boosters are just so important. We have a lot of data that says that after about 6 months, your number of circulating antibodies, meaning the number of antibodies that you have that help fight off COVID, it decreases drastically. It decreases drastically. And once you get boosted, the data shows that you are, follow this, 11 times less likely to even contract COVID. 11 times less likely to contract COVID. You're 20 times less likely to be hospitalized, and you're more than 50 times less likely to even die. Hence, that booster, it makes sense. Now, I get it. There are some people who can argue, and they have reasonable arguments. If you're 18 and you're healthy, there can be an argument made about not receiving the booster. But follow me on this point. When you contract COVID, and you're 18 and you're in that young group, if you contract COVID and you've been vaccinated, yes, studies are showing that you're going to probably do just fine, especially if you don't have any other pre-existing conditions. However, when you contract COVID, it means you're infectious, which means you can spread it to someone else. So while you may be fine, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, or someone who's immunocompromised may contract COVID from you. Look, we're in this together. We have to act and behave like we're in this together. And I get it. We've been in this space for almost 2 years now. It's gotten kind of scary. The information keeps changing. One arm of the government says this, another arm of the government says that, another state says this, one state says that. I get it. It gets confusing. But ultimately, our goal is to protect ourselves and our families and our loved ones. I would ask you, I encourage you, I almost plead with you, do what's in the best interest of the safety of your family, of the known safety. And what we do know is that if you are not vaccinated and you contract COVID, whoa, the negative stuff that could happen to you. Versus, hey, I'm going to get vaccinated and I'm going to go out in the world. That makes sense because the vaccinations are doing what they're supposed to do. They are preventing hospitalizations and they're preventing deaths. And just by having a normal vaccination, no booster, you're 5 times less likely to even contract COVID. So the vaccinations are doing their thing. But one final point, especially for the non-vaccinated, people are comparing, hey, I'm going to get vaccinated. I'm concerned about being vaccinated and the many side effects that I've heard about. That's one. Or not getting COVID. That's not the comparison. The studies are showing that if you are not vaccinated, you will contract COVID. So you've got to compare it to being vaccinated or contracting COVID and all the risks that come with that. Let me share a few risks. You may develop long-haul COVID. You may develop difficulty breathing. You may end up on a respirator. You may end up admitted to the ICU. And long-haul COVID symptoms, they include things like hair loss, difficulty breathing for a while, fatigue, erectile dysfunction, many other issues. So I would ask you to please look at the consequences of you deciding to get vaccinated or not. And let me fix this one rumor. There's a reporting system called VAERS. VAERS. And anyone in the country can report that, hey, I've been vaccinated, I've had this side effect. In fact, it's been shown. Someone reported that they turned into the Incredible Hulk. Let's set the record straight. Yes, they did. Let's set the record straight. Anybody can report in that system. My 15-year-old son can say, hey, Daddy, I got vaccinated and I didn't take out the trash and I think it was due to the vaccine. It's put in the system. That is not an official system where anyone has looked into anything. What's my point? people are making leaps and they are making decisions based upon that data. For instance, I heard recently that several thousands of people have died from the vaccine. Not in this country. At the very most, it may have been 3 who have died from the vaccine. People say, oh, 3. My heart goes out to those families. But 3 out of 200 million dosages, you got to run the numbers. Most importantly, I would encourage you, be safe and make sure you do something kind for someone, including your family. Here's why. We've been in this for a moment. We've been in crisis mode. People are feeling more anxiety, more depression, and more post-traumatic stress. If you have those things, be sure to see your primary care doctor, be sure to talk to a family member or clergy. But in the meantime, one thing that will make you feel better is to do something kind. Do something kind for someone else. And then you want to feel real good? Do something kind for someone you don't know, and don't let them know that you did it. If we're going to be in this together, let's be in this together. But again, Dr. Geoffrey, and I'm looking forward, well, not looking forward to it, but I'll see you again, and hopefully we can talk more than about COVID. I have a sneaky suspicion COVID's going to be here for a moment, but I'm going to be here with you. Be well.